Mic check, 1 2, 1 2. And a good afternoon, baseball fans. We welcome you. Bracket play action continues on. The 2024 AFA National Championships here in St. George, Utah. My name is Chris Allard with the call. As two good organizations going after another. The Firecrackers Brink going against Road 16. James, our head umpire, he'll manage the game. It's ball time. And fastball gets away there. And the count is 1-0. And a strike there. Firecrackers Brink will be the away team. And Ordona looks at a 1-1 count. And slow roller, shortstop, a good grab there. Throw across the deck is in time. So a good defensive play to start things off. Down the line quickly, but the out's recorded. So Camilla steps in and looks at a ball on the inside. Amelia Gillian plays right field for the club. And a ball pulled foul to the left side. The count goes even to 1-1. And a strike on the outer half. A good-looking pitch there. And the count goes to 1-2. Little housekeeping here. James, our head umpire, just talking to the catcher behind the dish. Jaden, the pitcher of record, ready to go. Pitch on the way. And a ball off the glove. A quick carom down the line is in time. So good speed in Gillian trying to get down the line, but a carom off of the glove of the pitcher, and then over to the second baseman. They were able to make the play. They convert it. 2 outs on the books here, top of the first, no score. Bracket play action continues on here. If you're just joining us live, we welcome you. And a swing and a miss there. The count is 0-1. Bella will step back in. 2 outs on the books. And a ball just missing low, a changeup or so. And the count goes to 1-1. And a strike called there. The count is 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 called on the outer half. So a 1-2-3 inning there. We'll head to the bottom of the first. No score. Bracket play action. Firecrackers Brink going against the Road 16U. The 2024 AFA National Championships. We'll be right back. Well, back to live action here, bracket play, the 2024 AFA National Championship. Chris Aller with the call as we're ready to go here, as we're in the bottom half of the first frame. Elisa Rodriguez will start things off when we're ready to go. And a strike called there. Working ahead in the count. The count is 0-1. And the ball's low on the outer third. The count goes even to 1-1. Jordan Scott, batter of record for Rogue 16, leadoff hitter. The 1-1 pitch. Chopper. Second basemen get down the line quickly and in time, so not able to make the transfer. And with good wheels down the line, the Firecrackers get their first runner on. Correction, Road 16. Taylor steps in the two-hitter. So the two-hitter in, ready to go. Bunt attempt, good bunt down the line. That ball goes foul. Good play on the defensive side for the catcher out quickly. The ball was sort of tracking inside the line and just rolled out to the outer part. And good defensive effort to tag it foul. Count is 0-1. And upstairs, a swing and a miss. And the count goes to 1-1. Correction, 0-2 count, says James. Following along with him, doing a fine job here today. James ready to go. The 0-2 pitch. Runner on the move and a cut swing foul. So that'll bring back the runner. And Jordan Scott over on the first base side. The count holds at 0-2. Runner on the move. Throw down to second. A good throw. Safe and in. So down the line quickly, up 60 feet. Jordan Scott with good wheels. A good throw coming out of the pop quickly. And a good arm down to second base. But the quick speed and quick move with an early jump for Jordan Scott finds herself over on second base. Opportunity here knocking. And a ball up, quick cut swing there. That'll do it. So Rodriguez picks up the strikeout. And a strike called there. Mia Freeze, the 0-1 count. Chasing the lower part of the zone. The count is 0-2. And a ball out. The count goes to 1-2. Correction, 1-1. James, our head umpire, keeping things in check there. Thank you, sir. Rodriguez takes a look on the pitch call here. Back to Rodriguez. Safe at third. So they looked as though they might have had the play on the defensive side. And runners at the corners here. So Firecrackers with an opportunity. Correction Road 6. So a little bit of housekeeping for the batter Mia at home plate as she's laughing that one off. Takes it lightly. Runners at the corners for Rogue. Bunt shown. And a broken play there on the defensive side as they were looking to cut it in the shortstop, but apparently there was some confusion there. A quick visit to the mound. Stay with us. We'll be right back. So Mia steps back in. Rodriguez ready to go after a little bit of confusion on a play there, and the ball's out. And a strike on the outer third. So a good looking pitch there, locating. Rodriguez on the outside. And a shot gets through on the third base side. That'll advance a runner over to third. So on board with a single. And like that, Rogue has runners at the corners. And with 2 outs here. Casey steps in. First baseman. See what you can do with runners in the corners. Opportunity. No throw. And no movement off of first. Count is 1-0. No throw to second, no throw there. So easy move into second base. Firecrackers looking for an out here. Ball is low, good block out in front, keeping it out there behind the plate. Brawley the catcher. Rodriguez struggling a little bit here. And the ball is up, ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk. Stepping in, number 99, Avery. Third baseman for Rogue 16 club. Bases loaded here. And is there a play at home? A good attempt, but taking advantage of the pass ball there. They'll bring one across. They get their second run. Runners move up. Ball is 1-0 to Avery. At the half inning, we're going to have the pleasure of talking with head coach. Had a chance to presentation from Utah. Bring him in to talk a little bit about college baseball, youth baseball, softball, what's going on in his level and the collegiate level as well as within the youth movement. It's just a pleasure. He was an outstanding speaker last night addressing as the ball hits center field and a fly out there. So they get the out. James keeping things moving along here in the afternoon. 3 o'clock hour here in St. George, Utah. 2024 AFA National Championship. So Bella looks at a ball that counts 1-0. And just missing on the outer third. The count goes to 2-0. The runners at second and third for Rogue 16. They've brought 2 over here in the bottom half of the first frame. With 2 outs on the books. Pitch on the way. Chop foul to the third base side and out of play. So Rodriguez and the Firecrackers get 1 back. Alyssa looking for a 3rd out for her club. Takes a look at her pitch call. And a ball cut foul and out of play. Out to the right side. As the count goes to 2-2 here with 2 outs. We'll see what Rodriguez can do with the 2s. Likewise on the offensive side. And what can Bella do? Ball's up. The count goes full. Bella looking for a knock. Rodriguez looking for an out pitch here. And the ball's outside. Ball 4. So the base is loaded on a walk. And that'll bring in Alexa. Alexa hitting in the 8 spot. Second baseman for the team. The 1-0 count. Firecrackers looking for an out here just to get back on the offensive side. Trying to minimize any damage here to 2-0 frame so far. Rogue 16 bringing 2 over. The 2-0 count. Ball missing outside. So a 3-0 count forthcoming. As James takes a moment there just to take a look down the line. A couple of athletes warming up. Always a safety check. That's paramount, which is good practice. And ball 4. So walking in, Rodriguez. The 4-pitch walk. And they bring across the third. So number 24, Emma, will step in. Looks like this could be a pitching change perhaps, or at least a conversation on the mound. And that looks like that's going to be the case for Rodriguez. So short work for Rodriguez here in the bottom of the first frame. Pitching change made. Stay with us. We will be right back. And the Firecrackers able to get the third out. They'll leave a few on, but they bring across 3. We will head to the top of the second. Stay with us. Rogue 16, 3-0 over the Firecrackers Brink. We will be right back with head coach from Utah Tech, Randy Simpkins. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, back to live action. The Firecrackers will get back on the offensive side, trying to match some things up here. It's a 3-0 affair as we head to the bottom half here, as the Firecrackers getting on the offensive side. Here with me this afternoon, head coach Randy Simpkins from Utah Tech. Coach, thank you for jumping in here this afternoon. It was a pleasure to hear you last night speaking to these young athletes and players. What a sense of motivation and inspirational discussion, and just your attitude and philosophy towards the game. But let's talk about those things and a few others. But just want to get your take overall, from this youth movement and these young ladies, these athletes. I do more baseball than I do softball, but I am so impressed with the level of talent, and obviously coming from your wealth and pedigree and coaching for 16 years and the championships you've won. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, no, there's great young ladies. Just like I said last night, this is the greatest game ever. I'm a former college basketball player, but this is the best game ever. It's fast, it's exciting, moves, and the young ladies' skill level in this sport right now is probably as good or better than it's ever been. There's so many kids that are really, really skilled in this game at every level, at the rec level, at the travel ball level, at the collegiate level, and now there's so many more opportunities at the professional level for them.
Yeah, and you see that. I've seen some of these professional leagues that are starting to develop, and there's a pathway now. I mean, the collegiate level, there's tons of opportunities. National teams probably tough, but the pro thing looks like it's really starting to develop.
It's huge. We had a young lady from Canada that pitched for us for 3 years, Kate Dolinsky. She was pitcher of the year in our conference a year ago. She had the opportunity to go to Europe and play. And then when that got done, she had the opportunity to go to New Zealand and play.
Unbelievable.
So she's, the opportunities at the professional level are a lot more. It used to be when you got done with college, you were pretty much done playing this sport, other than the few people that were on the national team or the few opportunities. But now there's so many professional leagues and professional opportunities worldwide, and it's amazing to see.
Well, I'll tell you, it's impressive, and some of the things that I'm seeing out here today with a 0-2 count here on Leah Villatoro, the pitching's been extremely well, but, kind of getting back to your talk about the professional side of the sport, it's probably very inspiring to see that as Villatoro will go down on strikes, so good pitching work there, and the K gets recorded.
Yeah, and kids, you never know how you're going to get to the professional level. You see so many of these kids that are playing at the professional level that didn't play at UCLA or Tennessee or Oklahoma or whatever, but they still have these opportunities because social media and live stream, there's so many games that are broadcast and so many games that are put out there. If you're going to find a kid, it doesn't matter what school she plays for. If you're going to find a kid that can play at the professional level, you're going to find her.
Yeah.
It used to be, man, it was really hard to get your foot in the door on some of those things.
And a well-hit ball down to the first base side. That's going to be extras, rounding and into the corner. And ball stuck down there on the warning track and behind the fence line. So
Great
rule double.
Great swing by that young lady right there.
Boy, I'll tell you, that was a stroke.
One of the things that I love is the celebrations when these young ladies either get a strikeout or get a hit or score a run. You see the passion that they play with, and you watch the College World Series and you watch baseball and you softball. But the heart and soul that they play the game with, that's what you love.
Well, and you really echoed that too with the players and how you talk about inspiration, being motivator, being a team player, and really you look for players when you're recruiting with a bunt laid down, will stay foul and we'll reset that one. You mentioned that during your conversation about, when you're looking for athletes, It's great, you want to win, you want to go 4 for 4 for the day, but what do you look like when you're struggling? What do you look like when you're really in a jam? Can you get through the grind, and how do you walk off the hill? How do you handle yourself?
And that's so important. This is a game of failure. We've all been taught that, but you just have to redefine success.
Yeah.
If you're a right-handed hitter and she throws you a great pitch on the outside corner and you line out to the second base, you did everything right. There's just somebody standing in the way of your base hit.
It's ironic how that happens sometimes, right?
and then the next time they might throw you the same pitch and you bleed one over the first baseman's head for a double.
Exactly.
But the game rewards hustle. The game rewards playing the game the right way and a great approach to it. And you watch these kids play, with their heart and soul, and they're diving out there and they're sliding. And we had a young lady here a few years ago, and she was in her senior year, and she's a 4-year starter for us, and great kid. And she grounds out to the pitcher in May of her senior year.
Oh my
So
gosh.
this young lady's probably going to be pretty tired by
Sure.
then. And she's sprinting to first base. And I told her at her senior banquet that year, at the end of the year, I says, the biggest compliment I could ever give you is you never took a play off. You're at the end of your senior year, end of a doubleheader that day, and she grounds out to the pitcher, and she's sprinting to first base.
As hard as she can get there,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
That's a testament. A well-hit ball looked like a little bit of an issue there on the third base side, not able to glove up there. And down the line quickly is Lauren Brink. She'll get on board with a single. Yeah, hustle really, as you said, it rewards itself, and really attitude too. And I think as a young athlete and young players, there's so much exposure now, with social media, as you talk about, and the platforms that we're able to communicate with, such as what we're doing today.
Yeah.
What's your take on that, and how do you sort of put that in perspective?
It's a double-edged sword for sure.
Yeah.
It can be the biggest blessing you have. It could also be, a real detriment. If you're doing stuff and posting stuff out there, you need to really, pay attention to what you're posting, and you need to kind of live in a glass house, because every time you step on the field, you're going to get judged, you're going to get scrutinized, you're going to get, evaluated, and it's also really, really contagious.
Yeah.
We've had a few young ladies, and one of the other biggest compliments I could tell you is you set the temperature in the room. We had a young lady come in 1 year as a freshman, and how hard she played made everybody else play harder.
Sure.
Just because she played so hard, and she was running and diving and sliding and played with the energy all the time, and how hard she played, that just raised everybody else's level.
Sure.
And if you can do that by how hard you play and how locked in you stay, that's a big time compliment.
Yeah, I that dictates the separation too, between
time.
good to great. You talk about that a little bit last night, and really what it takes. And it's what you do on your downtime. Are you on your? I appreciated your comment, and a good pitch strike on the outer half for strike 3. So Sotelo will have a seat there, and the K's recorded, but you talked about screen time, doesn't dictate, play time. If you're spending more time on the screen,
Exactly. If your screen time outweighs your practice time, you can't complain about playing time. We've all heard that.
Yeah.
But and that's these kids are the best in any generation of doing what's been put in front of them. What their private coaches do, what their parents do for them, what their travel ball coaches and their high school coaches set up for them. They're amazing at doing that. But what are they doing on their own to make themselves better? What are they doing that separates them from everybody else? Because if you just do what everybody else is doing, you're going to be just as good as them.
Well, you're going to move with the pack, right?
Exactly.
The pack will move pretty much consistently at the same rate.
Exactly.
Unless, you're one that steps outside of the box and does more.
What are you doing that's more than that? And what are you willing to give up?
Sure.
What are you willing to sacrifice in order to be great?
Yeah.
And we talk about, we don't want somebody that just comes in and wears a uniform. We want somebody that's going to come in and separate us from the pack.
How do you
separate us?
And how do you? I know you assess it in many different ways, but as you look ahead to your future, as you're building your teams and looking for players, how important is this piece? Because a lot of families, sometimes are they're disconnected in some degree, like, at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. How important is this? Chasing the trophies, and I not to get into that dialogue too much, but at what age do you really start to evaluate? As a throw attempt down to third, tag is on but safe. Runners will move up 60 feet with runners at second and third. What's your take on that, and how do you keep it in perspective and keep it in check for parents as they develop and evolve?
Kids still got to be kids, and kids got to want it.
Yeah.
They have to want to come back. So what I tell them all the time is, teach the kids how to play the game. and have them want to come back. Have them be the driving force of their skill set. It shouldn't be the parents or the coaches dragging them out of bed or dragging them out to the park or whatever.
Sure.
If the kid's driving the bus, man, go as far as they want to go.
Yeah.
You know, and as long as they love the game and they want to come back, you know, I don't think there's really that many limits. You know?
Sure.
As long as they love it and as long as they're, you know, in a healthy coaching environment and healthy playing environment.
And that's a key point. You mentioned
man,
healthy coaching environment. I mean, we've seen it all. You've been there, done that. I've seen it just through the years of being involved in the sport and athletics, and it really, really makes a significant impact, especially at these impressionable years, you know, and how important that is, because you can see the difference. And kids on a pass ball play at home, there's no play there, so an opportunity for the Firecrackers as they're knocking on the door here in the top of the second. So they bring one over on the pass ball.
Yeah, it's extremely important for coaches and people that are working with these young ladies to push them and challenge them, but let them know how much they believe in them.
Yeah.
You know, because you're not going to remember what your coach tells you as far as how to field a ground ball or how to hit a rise ball or anything like that, but you're going to remember how that coach made you feel and how much that coach believed in you or didn't believe in you, because that's what's going to get you there.
And a well-hit ball gets through on the right side, so here comes one. The tying run on the way home, there's no throw.
Just what we talked about right there. Ball off the end of the bat, just enough to get between first and second base, and it scores 2 runs.
Yeah, well executed there.
Yeah.
So the game is tied at 3-all here in the top of the second frame.
Yeah, I had a high school basketball coach when I was young that told me if I practiced 2 hours a day, I'd start every game my junior and senior year, and I'd have a chance to be a college athlete. And guess what, man? I thought that was gospel.
And it worked for you, because I heard you tell the story last night, and it worked. And
I did. I started every game my junior and senior year. I was I was the only player my senior year in college to start every game, and I led the team in rebounding and minutes played, and you know, and I came from a very, very small high school. Didn't get recruited very much out of high school. Made it as a walk-on.
But that's the difference maker, right? Because you had separated yourself by all the extra work, and a good bunt laid down across the mound. There's no throw. So like that, the Firecrackers Brink are knocking on the door with runners at the corners. So an excellent bunt, strategically well laid out.
Yeah, it's a great position. Third baseman wasn't charging very hard. Pitcher didn't get off the mound that side, and they're knocking at the door, and the road team's a little bit on their heels right now.
Absolutely. So, you know, you talk about kind of the next level and what happens when you look at, you know, collegiate. When do you start really keeping your eyes on players, you know, within the recruiting system with your staff, and what are you looking at?
It used to be a little earlier.
Well, NCAA changed the rule
they
back
changed
in
the
July
rule,
of last year.
Which is good.
Yeah,
you know,
we can talk about the portal, but we don't need to get into all of that.
The portal is a different.
But the rule change, it was a big deal.
Yeah, September 1st of their junior year, where we can't talk. They changed that a few years ago, and I think it's good because we're always going to be watching these kids way earlier than that.
Right.
But we don't need to start those recruiting conversations until they get a little older.
Well, and sometimes things change. The environment can change, and you know, as you know, we're not going to get into the discussion about the portal, but that opens up a whole can of worms.
Well, the players change and the coaches change.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
If you're committing as a freshman in high school, there's a big chance that a fair amount of that coaching staff is not going to be there, whether it's the head coach or assistant coaches or whatever. There's a lot of those kids, a lot of those coaches that aren't going to be there by the time you get there 4 years later. So.
Yeah, and you know, who knows how many people they're looking at elsewhere.
Oh yeah,
you know,
exactly.
or the other problem there maybe is, you know, what happens if your game doesn't progress? Yeah. You were the best 9th grader, 10th grader. You were the best 8th grade, 14U pitcher in the country.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden, you know, you're not projecting. You haven't developed. You haven't done the extra work that you know you needed to put in. So
well, there's 2 things that we talk about with our recruits is when we start the conversation September 1st, that's when the process should start, not end.
Right.
You know, I know there's a lot of schools and you know, right or wrong, a lot of schools are calling these kids on September 1st and offering them because they've watched them.
Sure.
But do they know that kid? Do they know that kid personally? Do they know their family and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
And so.
Slow roller back to the pitcher's side. That'll work. They'll leave 1-2 on the bases, but they tie this up. Good action here. We'll head to the bottom of the second frame. Stay with us, more to come. And back to live action here as we continue here in the bottom of the second frame here. The Firecrackers evening things up here. Got a lefty in the box, shallow hit right off the mound, and an easy out there.
Good movement by your lefty pitcher there to get back and catch that.
Absolutely. Aguilar taking
tough
over
play.
there. That's a good play, though. So
Yeah,
one
like
out.
She's probably secondary outfield position because she did a pretty good move there to get back to that ball.
Stepping in top of the order. And a cut there.
Yeah.
Count is 0-1. Aguilar doing a nice job on the hill coming in. Lefty pitcher takes a look, gets the call. A little bit of breeze coming in from center field here, and the count goes to 1-1. What do you like about left-handed pitchers?
10% better. That's what I always say. You're 10% better just because you're a lefty. You know, there's so many lefty hitters too in the game now.
And a ball, hard shot to third baseman, and in time.
Yeah. Nice play by your third baseman going backhand side right there.
Yeah, that was a good grab, definitely. Sotelo takes care of business there.
Yeah, that's a play right there. You don't have time to take any extra steps or any bobbles right there. If you make any mistakes, she's going to be safe, and she's nice play there at third base.
Clean transfer, you know, that can usually hang you up, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, the lefty pitching thing is huge. You see a lot more common now. It used to be, you know, pretty rare you'd have a lefty pitcher, but now.
Why was that?
You know what? I honestly don't know. I don't know. But we always say, and we didn't have a lefty on our staff this year.
Back-to-back defensive plays on the third baseman. So Sotelo, she takes care of business on the defense. They'll turn the side over. They'll get back to offense. This is a good one. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Back to live action here with Coach Randy Simpkins, head coach, Utah Tech here. Coach, it's a pleasure having you here. I appreciate you hanging around for a little bit.
Love it, love it. Having an event like this here in our backyard is the greatest thing ever. We get a chance to interact with these kids, get to know them a little bit, and get them here, you know, in our backyard and in our town. So we always say once they get this red dirt in between their toes, a little bit of St. George never leaves you.
I love it.
So
you know, it was a
desirable
beautiful
location.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. You know, I'm a West Coast guy from Southern California, you know, and I'm used to the ocean and all. When I drove in from Vegas, flying in and driving up here, wow, going through the gorges and just I was mesmerized. I had to stop, and I'm taking film of everything and the red dirt. You know, I'm into it. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. We love it here. Great weather. Obviously, it's a little warm during the summer, but during the school year for us, we have fantastic weather. We always say we don't have an indoor facility because we don't need one.
Yeah, why need it? Yeah, right.
We have a transfer that played at University of North Dakota her freshman year and came here last year. And she was talking about the negative 40 degrees. And I says, young lady, we kind of freak out if it gets to 40 around here, let alone negative 40.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It's been nice so far, and you have a beautiful complex here. And it's just wonderful to see the youth movement here with these young athletes and these ladies, you know, aspiring to keep their sports life in motion as long as they can.
And this complex has hosted some of the best teams in the country. We've had big-time Division I programs here. Our first year Division I, we had University of Washington here, and they were number 2 in the country. We played them twice here. So, you know, and we've had big-time men's fast pitch tournaments, slow pitch tournaments, and now all the youth tournaments that are here. You know, these complexes are absolutely fantastic.
Oh, I was just impressed with everything. And what AFA is doing for the sport is incredible. I mean, you know, Glenn and his staff and being able to bring things together. You know, last night we had that event. I was blown away. Like, you know, they're talking about a couple thousand people or whatever, and I'm like, no, there's about 7,000 or 8,000 people. And it's just the experience. It seems like families are having a great experience, and I think that's really what it's about. As we get a ball hit on the low part of the barrel, right fielder makes the grab. The out's recorded. They get to second. So Villatoro flies out.
And this is a family affair. It really, really is.
Yeah.
You know, you see the older brothers and the younger sisters and the grandparents and everybody else that travels with the kids and how invested they are in this entire journey. And that's, you know, these are their family vacations a lot of times.
I'm impressed to see that, and I speak from experience because on the other side, on the boys and the young men's side of the game, hardball and the stuff that I do and follow, it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's one parent, it's the kid.
Yep.
It's okay, you know, we're going to Florida, we're going to Texas, we're going here, we're going there, and one of the parents are on their way, and that's about it.
And it's a little bit more business-like.
Yeah,
you know,
very much so.
Yeah.
This seems like, I think the experience is very pure in the sense that people are having fun just being around.
Well, and watching the 10s and the 12s and the 14s and some of the younger teams last night at the parade and the costumes that they put together.
It's really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty special. But those are the things that they're going to remember.
That's right.
You know, you might not remember the wins and losses, but you're going to remember parading in front of thousands of people in the grandstands at Legacy Park. So
and having a good experience and hearing people like yourself that are professionals in the field who really know what it's about and the journey to get there, because that's what people want as well. They want the honest pathway. Like, what's the pathway? How, you know, and there, as you said, there's so many opportunities, whether you're a D1 or a D2 or a D3 player. Thought she was on board. She'll step back in.
Yeah, and that's you're right. There are so many opportunities, you know, between junior college.
And a bobble down on the first base side. So if you're going to score that, we're going to score that in ROE.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But
between junior colleges, NAI, D3, D2, D1, man, there's so many opportunities out there. And I tell all those kids, there's always an opportunity for you to play in college. It just depends on how big a school it's going to be and how far away from your house it's going to be.
Sure.
If you're willing to travel, you're willing to go somewhere else, and as long as it fits for your family, you academically, and your family financially, you know, why not?
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
There's some great coaches and great schools and great high academic schools at every level.
Yeah, and I think you talked about that too, being a key part of the fit. You know, a lot of people will get really, especially these younger kids, as you know, before the rule changed, here's mom and dad, and TCU looks at you, and you're in 8th grade, and they're going, hey, look we'll give you a verbal right now. We'd love for you to come and play for us because we like what we see. Shallow hit, shortstop lays it out across the deck there for the third out. An excellent play there on the shortstop side. So Rogue 16 makes a defensive play there. Mia does her thing. We'll turn the side over here. Yeah, it's interesting how, that's really a different environment, for a lot of people. But well, you got a minute, or are you?
No, I'm good. I'm
okay,
good.
I'd love for you to kind of hang in with me for another inning or so and enjoy the conversation.
The next game might end up being a team that might be local.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. I just met one of the moms of my daughter's high school teammate. And she's like, yeah, I think we play here next.
So a local.
They might be, here the next game. So
love to see it. Well, stay with us, folks, with Coach Randy Simpkins. Chris Aller with the call. The 2024 AFA National Championships here in St. George, Utah. We will be right back. Well, back to live action here. Rogue 16 will go 3-4-5 here as we're in the bottom of the third frame. Mia Frias in the box. Aguilera ready to go. The lefty, good-looking pitch there. Strike right up the middle.
Yeah, it's interesting to see some of these kids come in. We had a camp here a few days ago with some portal kids and some transfer kids, and we had a couple of kids from Wyoming, and they're like, yeah, it's warm in Wyoming, but warm in Wyoming is like 70, and we were like 100 and something.
Yeah, I think it was like triple digits.
Yeah, it was a little different. So, yeah, it's a different animal, and the lack of humidity here compared to where some of these kids are coming from, and a little bit of elevation. So
it's not too bad though from an elevation perspective. It doesn't seem like it's really all that bad.
No, we're about 2,700 feet here in St. George.
Yeah,
but you go 50 miles up the road to Cedar City, and it's almost double that. We're there about 5,500 feet.
Yeah, the air starts to get a little bit thin.
Yeah, air definitely gets thin.
Flyer down to the third base side. Shortstop rolls off, makes the grab. They pick up the out. Yeah, I've been really impressed with what I've seen so far, and I had an opportunity to look at some of the 18U kids too. I mean, boy, they're just right there. I mean, and that must be exciting, especially for you in your backyard, to see kind of what's out there and taking a look at some of these young players.
Well, and there's so many teams out there. You can't see them all. You can't get to them all. It's a monumental task to try to keep some of them straight. But having them here, in our backyard, I've got two of my assistant coaches here with me, recruiting as well.
That's
off
great.
And on throughout the week.
Yep.
Allows us a chance to get to some of these kids that have emailed us or reached out to us and find out, hey, you know what, is this kid, good enough for us? Are they going to be a good fit? Where could they possibly play?
Absolutely, and the ball's hit to the right side. That gets through on board with a single, and the throw is not in time. Looked like there might have been an opportunity there, man.
Might have been an opportunity. That's something you don't see in baseball very often. You see in softball occasionally, right fielder trying to throw somebody out at first base on a hard hit ball to right. So.
She looked like she was right there. Little steps, or maybe a couple more steps there, a little earlier, but nonetheless. She would have
charged it maybe a tiny bit harder earlier. She might have had a legit chance at getting that out.
Absolutely. On board with the single, runner in first base side, and Aguilera runs it on the outer third for a ball. The count is 1-0. How does your season look next year?
Good. We have a couple of kids from Hawaii on our roster, and we're actually gonna go back to Hawaii and go to a preseason tournament at the University of Hawaii.
Beautiful place. Flyer to the left side, a good grab.
we always try to tell our kids, we'll try to get you home to play in front of your friends and family if our conference schedule doesn't get you there. So we have a couple of Hawaii kids. So we're gonna go to a University of Hawaii tournament. We have 2 young ladies coming in from Boise.
Nice.
So we're actually gonna go to a Boise State tournament
Very good.
in March. Yeah. So we'll get them home to play in front of their friends and family. And then I believe our first weekend we're going to do Loyola Marymount and UCLA are co-hosting a tournament.
Heading down to California.
Head down to SoCal because we've got obviously some SoCal kids on our roster.
Yep.
And then we host a couple of tournaments.
Where do you host? Do you host them at the university?
Yeah,
or
we host
within
them at the university. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we have one of the weekends we have Weber State, Utah State.
Pass ball there will advance the runner. Sorry about that,
You're
Coach.
good. Weber State, Utah State, us, and a couple of other teams coming in. And then the other weekend we have Boise State and Portland State and Utah Valley, and we're working on a couple of other teams there. So having the weather that we have here in St. George, we usually have 5 preseason weekends. And having the good weather that we have early in the spring to be able to host tournaments really helps.
It's not too warm yet.
No,
right?
we really don't get to where it starts to really heat up until the first part of May, middle of April. So.
How's your roster size? What's the collegiate roster size
Man, it's so
does
different.
Does it vary, or does it depend on division,
lot.
or does it depend on demand, what you need?
Yeah,
and a slap ball there to the right side, and that gets through. That's trouble.
Roll a long way.
Here comes one. That's going to be a big roller on her way to third. She rounds second. And there's no throw in, so a triple on a ball that gets away on the right side. Tough play.
Yeah, tough play. I think she was kind of caught in between diving and catching it on a hop, and she kind of got an in-between hop, and it kicked right on her a little bit and got past her, and it turns into extra bases for sure.
And one across.
Back to your roster size question, we try to generally operate between 20 and 22.
Right.
If we get much bigger than that, we end up with some kids that just don't have the opportunity to play as much, and they get one chance at this, and if they're stuck on our bench for 4 years, that's tough.
And safe at first. Down the line was quick. You talk about rosters. Obviously, this roster's starting to deal some goods here, and Rogue kind of coming back around here as they bring one over.
Yeah.
But roster size, playing time is probably all relevant.
Yeah, and we want these kids to have a great experience. And if we bring a young lady in and we make her bust her butt every morning in weights and in practice, and then we only give her a few innings a year, that's probably not the best situation for that young lady.
Yeah, for sure. And the tag is on. The out is made. A good throw.
Nice throw. Good transition by your catcher there.
Absolutely. Came out quickly. The pop, gunned it down, and gets the out.
Yeah.
They'll turn it over, but they pick one up. It's a 4-3 affair. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, back to live action here with Coach Randy Simpkins from Utah Tech. It's been a great conversation thus far as we're in the bottom of the third frame here. Batter Sotelo in the box here for Firecrackers. Correction there, top of the fourth. As our umpire James working with Angel on the infield, keeping things moving along here this afternoon. We'd like to thank them for their efforts and everything they do. They're out there keeping things moving along. Pitch on the way. Ball's fastball up and out. Count is 3-0. Sotelo. I noticed yesterday it kind of clouded up towards the end of the day. Is that typical this time of year?
Not really, but we were enjoying the heck out of it.
I saw a lot of people outside, ball four, so Sotelo gets on with a 4-pitch walk.
Yeah, a lot of people around here. It's early morning, late at night, or not at all.
Yeah, is that how it works?
Some of your outdoor activities, it gets pretty warm during the middle of the day. So a lot of early morning stuff, a lot of stuff after the sun goes down. To just try to manage the heat. But yeah, we used to have a lot of snowbirds, a lot of people that would leave for the summer. Not anymore. Everybody sticks around.
Well,
you still have students.
Times have changed, right?
Yeah.
Times
you
have
still
changed.
have the retired people that don't leave, that stick around during the summer. So yeah, we still but the big events like this coming in during the summer, helps as well.
Makes a huge difference.
Oh, it does, big time. Kind of struggling throwing the ball back to the pitcher right now.
Yeah, not sure what's happening with that.
Got to clean that exchange up just a little bit.
There you
with
go.
The runner at first base.
These ladies have been out here for a while today, and I've been fortunate. I've been in this coverage, and even here it's a little bit hot. But.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
So they're gonna work that out.
I'm a pitcher, so I understand the pitching end of it. But
yeah, I can
catchers,
imagine.
man, I don't know anybody on the diamond that works as hard as a catcher. So I always tell our pitchers, every time your catcher goes and catches for you, catches a bullpen, whatever, man, carry their gear, buy them a drink, tell them thanks,
keep them happy. To buy them lunch, do something nice for them every now and then, because they can make or break you, right?
That's your moneymaker right there, for sure.
Especially when they're tired and you got to frame a pitch that you think you're going to get the strike call if it's framed properly, but if you don't, you're going to be looking at a ball.
And we kind of beat up our catchers just a little bit with working with umpires, because I know I can talk to my catcher and say, hey, my catcher this last year, Rachel Campbell, and she was a 3-year starter for us. I would always tell her, Rachel, you got to work harder, and she's the hardest working kid maybe I've ever coached.
Sure.
But I know that if I do that, the umpire knows, okay, hey, you know what? She's working her tail off back there to try to get this call. I need to pay attention to that. But if I start yelling at the umpire, our strike zone gets the size of a
they'll squeeze you real quick, right? Yeah, that you've been there. It's a cut there, fell back.
So I always tell the catchers, I said, don't take anything I say personal, but I'm telling you, hey, you got to work harder to beat it there. You got to work harder to give him a good look, whatever, So you give a ton of respect to these young ladies that are back there behind the dish, especially for multiple games in a day.
Oh, absolutely. And ball 4, so no play. So walk down to first base for the pitcher. Aguilar came in. And Jaden Scott in a little bit of trouble here with the runners at first and second and no outs here. So the Firecrackers trying to turn it on here and cut it loose with no outs. Opportunity. A little movement off the bags. Strike call. Yeah, catching is a rough job no matter what, whether you're playing softball or baseball. It is a rough position. I have a lot of respect for these catchers.
And especially if your pitcher's struggling.
Oh, yeah.
At all, and you're trying to get trying to get calls, and they're all over the place, and you're trying to frame it. So
Yeah, and that's tough.
yeah, it is. So.
And then, you can't turn around to the ump and give
No,
him a look
no.
like, hey, what's up here?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
as soon as you do that, it's
you're,
over.
You're showing him up, and you're never going to get a call after
That's
that.
right.
So,
That's
we always try to ask our catchers, you can talk to him, but face your pitcher as you do it, so nobody knows that you're talking to him.
that's right. Ball hit to the shortstop side, laying it
nice
out. A
play.
good play there.
Yeah.
What a defensive effort on the shortstop side.
That's 2 really nice plays in a row.
Mia
One to end
Frias.
last inning
Wow.
and one right there. That was definitely headed into the outfield. Would have scored a run for sure.
A great defensive effort. So Malaya Ordona steps in. Malaya looking for an opportunity here with runners at the corners. Trying to even things up. A bunt attempt, fouls it straight back. A little late getting the barrel down there.
Yeah, for sure.
Needed to be there a little bit early.
Yep.
Especially with a fastball. That was a good pitch.
Good pitch to work with right there. You
Yeah.
definitely want to be able to get the job done with that pitch.
Yeah, she just looks like she barely even was able to get set there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Most exciting play in softball, first and third.
Yeah, there you go. Let's
so
see
many options.
Ball is low. Runner goes to second. No throw down. They get 60 feet closer to home in the second base position. Second and third occupied here. Light breeze coming in here. It's pleasant this time of day.
Yep.
And a ball in the low part of the barrel. Shortstop will back up and make the grab. So Malaya will fly out.
Quality pitch right there.
Yeah. Get jammed there and a little flare right to the shortstop, and 2 outs on the books like that. The batter number 33 will step in.
2 good plays in a row defensively to stop the ball up the middle, and then a good pitch there to keep the ball in the infield. Saves a run. See if Rogue can get out of here without another run scoring.
As Gillian looks at ball 1, the count is 1-0. Line shot to the shortstop. Has she made good plays this inning? Absolutely. 1, 2, 3. The defense is shining. She's got a great smile going. We'll turn it over. They'll leave 2 on the bags. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, back to live action here in the bottom of the 4th. Firecrackers on the defensive side. Rogue back to the offense, leading this affair 5-3. As the 8-hitter, Alexa takes a cut there, fouls it off. The count is 0-1. Ball in the low part of the zone. And the count goes even to 1-1. So Alexa, as I mentioned, they'll go 8, 9, 10 here for Rogue 16U. Playing out of Sylmar, California. West Coast team making the trip here to St. George. Pitch on the way. Ball hit to the gap. Left fielder makes a good move to her left, and they pick up the first out. So one down. Aguilar, the left-handed pitcher of record, coming in, taking over. So far has done her job. Emma Mason, the 9-hitter, steps in with 1 out. Good-looking pitch, just on the inside and up. And the count is 1-0. Emma steps back in.
Two pretty competitive pitches there, both called balls.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, it looked as though maybe the low part of the zone just missing. And then the upper half on the inner half of the plate there, the 2-0 count.
Pretty good situation if you're a hitter right here, right?
Absolutely. Green light all the way, and he gets the call in the outer part of the third. And a 2-1 count. Release point pitching.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Because you see it, I mean, with the way the windup is for a pitcher.
Yeah. You just try to get to develop consistency and how that feel is going to be coming off your hand every time and not have to think about it too much. And you see some of these kids that are really trying to, not really aim it, but really trying to guide it in there. It's like, you know what, if you can do it over and over and over and get it to where you can repeat it without having to think about it and make little tiny fine adjustments. And a lot of those adjustments might be as much mental as they are physical.
Sure.
We always say, see it before you throw it.
Yeah, right.
If you can see it, your body's going to be able to get it done.
Another ball jammed in the low part of the barrel a little bit. Flied out to the second baseman. There's 1 out.
Yeah,
I like this lefty here.
She's
moving
effective.
the ball.
Again, the 10% better because she's a lefty. Ball moves a little bit. She has good spin rate. You can see the ball spinning well, ball moving, and they're just not squaring up a whole lot of balls yet.
So what you're telling me is it equates to extra outs. You get 10% more outs as a lefty.
Go.
Is that what
there
that
you
is?
Go. We always figured that it's going to take a couple more hitters, for them to kind of get on your lefty a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes your righties, you've seen them a lot or
Sure.
whatever. But
Well, most coaches are throwing BP to your righty and all that. If your coaches throw BP,
Yeah, and if you have a lefty on your staff and they're throwing any kind of, live game scrimmage situations during your practices, your hitters are going to be just a little bit better swinging against lefties.
absolutely.
So
Getting to see that. Yeah, it just looks so different.
Yeah. And we've had, Ashton Bowerly on our roster the last 5 years up until this year. Every time we beat a lefty, after the game, I would say, Ashton's our MVP.
There you go. And off the mound there, Aguilera. And an out play, the tight call down the line.
PFP right there, pitching fielding practice.
That's good stuff there.
Real nice play. I don't think your shortstop or third baseman have a play on that one.
Not there. Good work. So Aguilera continues to roll forward. The Firecrackers will get on the offensive side. Stay with us. We will be right back. Go back to live action here. Top of the 5th frame. Gomez strikes out. Fastball upstairs. And a line shot. A well-hit ball to the fence line. Rounding. They could have a play at second. The throw is in. The tag is on. And the play is made. I'm not so sure on that one if I was on the move.
Yeah. Yeah. Good play by your center fielder to get it in quick and put it on the money. Maybe slide right there. You might have a chance. But,
You never know.
I think the throw beat her, a fair amount anyway.
I mean, she had charged really quickly from
Yeah.
center, and she was around the corner. She rounded, and she was only about halfway.
Yeah.
And the center field already had possession of the ball.
For sure. So
Didn't take much there.
yeah.
Emily Wagner, lefty matchup here. No correction, righty lefty. And a pitch on the outer half. Strike called there. Good looking pitch.
Yeah, good pitch.
movement.
Good pitch, yeah. Pitch that kind of runs away from a lefty a little bit. It's kind of a tough pitch to hit.
Same location, framing pulled in. You like that?
Right back to it. Right back to it. Yeah.
Catcher brought that in really